watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of Inside Automotive right here at the CBT Automotive Network. Dealerships are in a critical phase of, as discounts, I should say, are being applied to aging car inventories. And today we are learning strategies to leverage those vehicles that are oftentimes harder to sell. Joining us now is Len Short, the chairman and CEO of Lotlinx, which is a brand I know you know out there. They are doing phenomenal things for dealers all over the country. So Len, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us on the show.
Thanks, and thank you for having me.
Sure. So what challenges are dealers facing right now? I touched on a little of them in the opening, but what are you seeing?
Yeah, it's no secret that we're in a cooling market. We were running a beta with some of the best operators in the country on a new lead product, and they were achieving 50-60% appointment set rates from this leads.
Yeah.
And then in October, it started to slow down. Nothing changed about the leads. It all changed about the consumer.
Yeah.
Right. And they're telling us, hey, new car leads normally close 45, maybe 60 days. They're approaching a doubling of that close time. Right. It's just and it's essentially because of what we all know. Inflation has driven a lot of people to be a lot more careful about their money. So it's a very price sensitive market.
Yeah.
And, inventory is coming back. And dealers are starting to carry over more and more inventory. And our view is, and I come from the Wall Street, we're moving from a bull market to a bear market.
Yeah.
Not a bad bear market. I think we'll have a nice solid 15+ million SAR this year, but highly competitive. Now what we're advising is dealers got to get their defensive game going, right? You got to start looking at what you're carrying over, what inventory risk you have, and develop a strategy to play defense on that risk inventory.
That's right. That's right. We hear so much, Len, about the use of data. I mean, it's first and foremost on every dealer's mind, the best way to use data. I know this is something that is near and dear to your heart, and you've done, built a company around it. How can data help dealers face these kinds of challenges?
What we've been teaching dealers is, think of it this way. Your marketing stack has been highly refined. Okay, you guys are smart guys. You work through dozens and dozens of vendors, but think of it this way. It's working on what you're selling.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not working for what you're carrying over.
That's right.
And when you start to think of it that way, you start drilling in and you see, wait a second, I see it. My marketing is delivering to what I'm selling, but the VINs that I'm not selling aren't getting viewed. They're not getting shopped. My marketing is not working there.
That's right.
And that's what I mean by a defensive strategy. You've got to develop a strategy to make sure that those VINs are getting seen. The way we're using data, big data, is we can use now AI or machine learning, and we can predict within 3.5 days, on day 0, when a car is actually going to sell based on those market circumstances.
Wow. And
within $300, what it's going to sell for. So we're very focused on this defensive game, risk inventory, predicting risk, and executing against that risk right away.
Yeah.
And not letting it become a problem. Because here's the issue: over 90% of the markdowns happen after after holdover. Right? Just shy of 90% of the holding cost happen. In a bull market, that wasn't that punishing. You made a bad decision on a car at auction, the market was going to let you out of it.
That's right. You're still getting out of it.
A little bit, but right now is going to be brutally punishing.
Yeah.
Okay. Those mistakes are going to really cost you. So as Bear Bryant said, right? Defense wins championships.
What are some of the strategies? You guys are working with dealers all over North America, hundreds, if not thousands of dealers. What are some of the strategies Lotlinx recommends dealers use to move inventory?
We're spending a lot of time, our smart dealers, we're spending a lot of time examining pricing. It's a highly price sensitive market.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of guys saying, I'm priced right. And then you dig in and not so much. And here's the thing that the savvy dealer knows. The shopper knows more about his inventory than he does. You gotta price right, and especially if you're going to conquest, if you're going to pull from one of your competitive dealers, you got to step on his market and be priced right to pull those sales away from him. It's a competitive world, and in normal times, it's a very tight margin business.
Sure.
But we're back in that, and to win, you gotta go back to the basics and the discipline, the discipline that a lot of these guys' fathers grew their dealership group on, that they forgot in a bull market because hey, the living was easy,
That's exactly
and now
right.
they got to get back to that,
Yep.
and that's what's going on. And the great thing is that there's data and technology to help you. So machines won't do anything that you wouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
I always say they do exactly what you would do if you had the data and you could pay attention to every little piece of it.
Right. That's right.
So that's the thing. I think dealers are waking up to this.
Yeah. No question.
I think they're hearing a lot about it, but it has to be presented to them in very usable form.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the last thing we need is more complication in this business.
Len, talk to us about some of the upset dealers out there right now.
The owners are pounding the table, right? They're putting a lot of pressure on their operating teams. A lot of turnover in GMs
I know.
and heads of BDC. I mean, we're constantly, we got a new person here, and they're leaning down hard. This is what Chuck Schwab taught me. He said, listen, good, smart people figure out a way.
That's right.
That's why the stock market always goes up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a company may languish for a while, but good, smart people are in there trying to figure it out, and sooner or later they find a way. There's been a lot of reaction in the marketplace. A lot of dealers just, recoiling, and a lot of canceling of stuff, and
Sure.
a lot of turmoil. That's going to settle down as people decide, all right, listen, we're in a headwind, and we've got to grind ahead.
That's right.
So I think there's a lot of that, and we feel it. We feel that these management teams are under a lot of pressure, and they've got to figure it out. But they'll calm down. They'll figure. They'll, as I say, there's no more resilient set of business people on earth than car dealers.
Well, if I was a GM right now, I'd be calling you for that technology that you've got. So, because I don't want anybody replacing me. So, if the technology's out there, like Lotlinx, I'm getting it. So,
yeah. Well, hey, as I say, go to the website, download some of the free stuff.
Yeah.
Poke around, see if it starts making sense to you. Because if it does, then we can help you.
That's right. That's right. Hey, talk to us about Lotlinx VVO. I've heard a lot about it. I've spoken to dealers. Talk to us about it.
It's really at the heart of that core issue. What you find is cars that are hot get 90% of your VDP views. Mm-hmm. Guess what? You're stocked right, priced right. They're going to sell themselves. Marketing is not really a big factor in those sales.
Yeah.
The problem is 90% of your inventory is underserved, and that's the stuff that carries over, drags you down
every time.
And so when you start thinking about, okay, my marketing's working on what I'm selling.
Yeah.
Congratulations. But now it's not on what I'm not selling. How do I approach that?
That's right.
Well, that's what we're trying to focus them on. Because you get the defense right, and you start running up the score.
That's right.
Right. That's what dealers need to do today.
Where does Lotlinx get its data from?
Everywhere. Literally we've ingested everything that's available, and the machine sorts it out. We're plugged into all, many of the OEMs, so they feed everything, all of their transaction, the DMS, thousands of DMS platforms, but a machine can make sense of it. It can kind of pick out what's actually, important and what's incidental.
Sure.
But you can't, but a couple of simple data points, that's not going to get you there.
Sure.
And that's what we mean by big data machine learning.
Yeah. I know this is a loaded question, but how do you anticipate which vehicles will be harder to sell than others before they pose a risk to the dealership?
It's all about prediction.
Yeah. And
so what the machines are doing is looking at all of this data. Hey, what's going on in the market? What's advantaging and disadvantaging this VIN? What are the weather patterns? That are going to impact and stay. All of this stuff. And it's making a prediction about what's going to happen. And if you look at ChatGPT and you think, well, how good can prediction be? Well, those are grammatically correct and very incisive paragraphs of words that each one has been predicted after the other. So it can be really exact. It's scary good at predicting, but it's the same way, Jim. When you get on this phone call, you've got a whole lifetime of experience. You're predicting every word you're going to say.
That's right.
That's what you're doing it by instinct. You know what to say, and that's what you're doing it from this massive data set of experience.
That's right.
That's the best I can explain it.
Yeah.
It's all, in some ways it's magical. It really
is incredible. No question about it. Hey,
Yeah.
talk to us about NADA before you let you leave. I know that you always make a big showing out there, and this year is no different. So talk to us about that.
So we always see NADA as a platform. So we're introducing this platform that I talked about called Sentinel, right? A machine that watches your lot, predicts the risk, and it executes strategies automatically against that risk inventory. By the way, we've been running that for 2.5 years with our big, partner dealers. It's just crushing it.
Wow.
So it's
dealers, you got to get over to check this out then.
Yeah. So we're talking a lot about that. I have a world-class marketing person. I think you're going to like how we look there.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big statement. We invest a lot because I think a lot of dealers, they may come by the booth and listen to us, they may not, but they're walking the hall looking at, hey, where's the energy?
Yeah.
Where are the busy booths? Who looks like they're part of the future rather than part of the past?
Right.
And so we invest heavily in it, and I think this is going to be a big NADA because I've talked to a lot of dealers, and they know they need to take a different approach next year than what they took last year.
Oh, there's no question about it, and I think it's going to be
that's what they go to NADA to look for. What's my new strategy?
That's right, and I think it's going to be a good show for that reason because we are going, into this new set of circumstances in 2024 with regard to pricing and discounting and inventories, and there's a lot of nervous dealers out there that need answers. And so for dealers that are watching, put Lotlinx on your short list for sure because they're doing clearly some really cool things that you need to be aware of. You owe it to yourself and your dealership, as I always say, to check these things out. And Lotlinx needs to be, if not on the short list, at the top of it. So Len Short, I want to thank you so much for stopping by CBT News and taking the time out of your schedule. It's always great catching up with you. And as I said, we're going to make a link right here to Len's site over there at Lotlinx so you can check them out before you get there. But do yourself a favor, if you're going to NADA, put Lotlinx on your list. So thanks so much.
Thank you, sir. Great to see you.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.